Hello there once again, folks. Welcome back. Another LC Coaches Show coming at you. I'm Brad Welburn. Glad to be joined once again by our women's soccer coach, Samantha Etherington, Coach Sam. And we got plenty of things to talk about as well, just like we did with the Claudie. So let's start with, I guess, last week, a couple of games against Millsaps and Belhaven. And Sam, wanted to first, obviously start with Millsaps. Another draw there for you, the second in a row. You to play LSUS and then you get Millsaps in a draw. And I know probably, we haven't talked really, but there was maybe a little bit of frustration on your side as far as not being able to finish, because I know we had some prime chances there in that game to kind of get that goal lead or that whatever, but just weren't able to kind of get it done. And that's kind of been the story so far of the year of really not being able to finish. Yeah,
we had, I think, 4 girls who played that Millsaps game and got in as forward, and they're just 4 very different players. We've got one girl who's kind of blessed with speed, one girl who's more technical, one who's a little bit of both, and then we got one who's super technical. So it's just trying to find that right combination, and I think a lot of it has also got to do with we need to start doing some extra stuff, outside of practice, which I've seen some of the girls have been starting to do. And for me, it's just me kind of sitting back and thinking, what kind of sessions can we put out on the practice field to make it as game realistic as possible, because I think 90% of it is the coach, 10% of it is just the players actually putting it out there, so there's a lot of reflection going on after those games when we do so well up until that point, and then it's like, okay, what do we need to do for the final third? But yeah, it's kind of the same story as last week, which is annoying. But a couple of chances probably didn't go away in terms of refereeing decisions and all that type of stuff, which is a shame because we worked so hard to get in that final third. So when we're not given what we think we deserve in terms of those calls, it kind of just grinds on you a little bit. Yeah.
Well, you got to talk a little bit about McKenna got a goal, her second of the year, to kind of get the equalizer, which was big. But then moving on to Belhaven, do you think there was maybe a little bit of maybe some tired legs there? Back-to-back 110-minute games, and then you play 45 minutes with a 0-0 draw, and then Belhaven kind of scores middle of the second half, but an unlucky kind of score there for us.
I think so. The tiredness did play a part, but I still think they played quite well. Yeah. It was just one of those type of games where no one really had possession of the ball for long periods of time. And we take stats and keep track of touches on the ball, and there was literally a 1 touch difference between both teams. And as I said to you before, that extra touch just probably happened to be the one that went in the back of the net, and I haven't watched that goal back yet. But from what I hear, it was just a toe sticking out deflection. I was kind of distracted at the time, so I'll admit I didn't really catch a full look at it, but the teams weren't mismatched, and that's just the sad thing. The games we've played, even the games beginning of the season when we lost 3-1, looking back at those type of stats, we weren't outplayed by any means. It's just the goals are going against it, and we're not really being able to put other ones in the back of the net to even it up.
So is it, as we move forward here to this week, is it about just focusing on the attack part of practice, or is it just, like you said, kind of finding that combination of player that can kind of finish things, or what is it, a combination of the both, or what?
A little bit of both. Okay. And I think over the past couple of years, we focused really heavy on the other team. What are we preparing for the other team? What do they do? How can we stop them? I think the difference this year is we're working on what can we do and how can we make it better. I don't think we've really had a session yet where it's just been watch out because this team's going to be doing this. We've still got to kind of keep our eyes open, and I've got to make sure I'm watching film to make sure I'm, setting ourselves up for those teams. But I really believe we can compete with those teams. It's just about, crafting, our kind of stuff and getting in the final third and being confident. And I keep telling the girls, if you guys keep working, it's going to come. I can't tell you when it's going to come, but I promise you it will come if you keep working. But the moment you guys think, okay, we're done, we've had enough, then that's when, you start losing and you don't feel good about the losses because you haven't put everything out there.
Right. Let's move forward a little bit about this week. Just like the guys, you guys are headed out to Howard Payne into UT Dallas for your first road contest of the year. What can you tell us? I know Dallas is usually pretty good in most everything, so that'll be Saturday's game. But what are you most looking for from the team out of Thursday in Howard Payne?
Howard Payne's kind of a team that we don't know a whole lot about, just because they had a new coach last year, so this is really his first year with his recruits. I know they got a big win against the Ozarks, so they're definitely going to challenge with, but I think it's one of those teams we can compete with. It's going to be similar to the games that we've played recently. Hardest thing is being away from home.
Yeah.
I always tell the girls we go into every contest, and based on history, we're the underdogs every time.
Yeah.
So we've got nothing to lose when we step out on the field. My expectations traveling through conference is the aim is to hopefully go 1-1 each weekend. Because if you can win at least one game, then you're kind of setting yourself up to look to go into the conference tournament. So yeah, Howard Payne's going to be a game we can compete with.
Is there any difference, like as far as maybe not expectations, but like any challenges of playing on the road as opposed to, because you played 5 matches now and they've all been here. So first road trip, I mean, you expecting something different from the team? I
think it's just the mentality. The great thing we have is that the preparation is all controlled. You know, when we're at home, we kind of have the downside of we've got class all day, we've got to go to school and get all that stuff done before they can even think about the game. When we're on the road, breakfast is controlled, lunch, dinner, all that type of stuff. You know, we've got a lot of time to meet with the girls. So I think we can get prepped a little better, but you've got the downside of you don't have your home fans there, you know, not as many families there to kind of cheer you on. So yeah, but it's the first road trip, so for a lot of girls, it's their first major trip with the team, so it's going to be exciting for them. Hopefully we can get a result of some kind so that it's fun for them. And then we head into UT Dallas and, you know, just looking for confidence that they can actually compete with them. UTD is going to be a good team. They always are. But those are the type of teams we've got to go up against, and that those girls have eventually got to face to realise, oh, okay, this is college soccer now. This is the level we're facing in conference.
All right, so there you have it, folks. Thursday and Saturday, the Lady Wildcats will be on the road, back home next week for a couple matches. And again, you can find the links to these matches this week on our website, www.lcwildcats.net. And that'll be courtesy of Howard Payne and UT Dallas as well. So, Sam, thanks again for joining us this week. I'm Brad Wellborn. We'll see you next time.